Hello.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Hello and welcome to Delight and Fright. I am Kat and the lovely Luna is on my side over here. So
Yay!
first I want to apologize to everyone for us missing so many shows. I had an upper respiratory infection and from coughing, I managed to fracture not one but two ribs. Yay, so that was a lot of fun. I'm not back 100%. As you can probably hear, my voice is a little, sometimes I might have a cough attack, so bear with me if I just hit mute, Luna. But
Yeah.
tonight we are celebrating the awesome Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978, which happens to be a favorite year of mine because it's the year I was born. It is directed by Philip Kaufman, starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy, and my favorite, Jeff Goldblum, and also Veronica Cartwright, which does an amazing job as well.
Absolutely. Such a wonderful cast, and you get to see them earlier on in their careers. Like Jeff Goldblum was so young, you're like, whoa, so that's fascinating. And Halloween spirit already coming in with those hellos. Hi, how are you? Hope
Hi.
you're having a good day. And hopefully you have some good spooky Halloween-ish vibes going on this weekend because September's upon us and we're getting ready to do all the spooky stuff.
Yes.
Speaking of spooky stuff, I have the trailer for this fantastic film. So let's go ahead and show it for our lovely viewers and listeners. I see you.
They come from a dying world. They drift through the universe, pushed on by the solar winds. They adapt, and they survive. The function of all life is survival. Sleep, sleep, sleep. From deep space, sleep. The seed is planted. Sleep, sleep. Terror grows. Like the others.
Elizabeth, wake up! Get you when you sleep. Sit up!
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It's got no detail, no character. It's unformed.
All of a sudden, they're growing like parasites. Is it contagious?
People are being duplicated.
How do you know my name? I didn't tell you my name.
Can't find anything in here that looks like a body. One side's nosebleed.
It looked right at me.
You're looking at it as if it was human. It was not human.
Now, the classic fear begins to grow
We're being cornered.
in a modern masterpiece of science fiction.
They're barricading the street.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Get down!
Starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. From deep space, the seed is planted.
Ooh.
Terror grows.
Yes. So that is definitely the wonderful preview we had for you
The
guys.
seed is planted.
Uh,
Oh, ooh.
no
Jeff
planting, please.
Goldblum, you can plant my seed, but nobody else.
I don't know if I want any seeds like of that sort planted anywhere near me. I don't know.
So, what did you think about the beginning where it looked like to me jellyfish, like in the
Um,
intro that were landing coming to Earth?
so to me it looked like giant fucking boogers. Like I was like, ooh, what the
Space boogers.
like
No.
like I was like, oh shit, it's COVID. Like with the boogers and then it started splitting. I'm like, is that what a COVID looks like, So it was interesting.
So it's a little past your normal runtime that you love, an hour and 55 minutes. How did you just did you notice the difference?
No, well, some scenes were a little slow, but it added on to the story. So the runtime I felt for this was perfect, and I didn't feel like there was any gaps or it was too long dragged out. So some movies are better if they're long dragged out because they have a lot of depth to them and they need to be fleshed out a little bit more. But an hour and 30 minutes for like something that's, not super fleshed out, you just like a slasher would be
Mhm.
good for that because it's like just slashing, not much story there. Yeah.
Yeah, this had
So,
a lot of character building that I think really added to the fright of it, that made it scary, seeing how these people changed, and then
mhm.
some you weren't even expecting, such as Leonard Nimoy, Dr. David Kibner.
I always suspected him to be in
Yeah.
on it because when he was counseling, that one lady at that party, at that book signing party, he was very sure that she was wrong.
Mhm.
Just like, "Oh yeah, you're wrong. It's your husband," but he didn't bother to listen to the patient. He just was there to try to pursue the brainwashing per se. So I feel like Nimoy's character was like, because the rest of the pod people were already so sheep like, but Nimoy's character was very like kind of like the other people were the sheep and he was like the sheep herder with, like, you know what I mean, pulling the
But he
strings. And
was he was very aggressive especially at the beginning when he was at the party. I'm kind of not sure if he was changed right after the party when
mm,
they kind of saw how he was and how he was working for their cause, perhaps without knowing he was working for their cause. I think they might have recruited him after that. I'm not sure if he was an alien beforehand when we first see him. I'm
mhm,
not sure if he's an alien because it seems like he has a lot more emotion, but I thought the others weren't, like, they had no emotions. There's
mm.
no love, no hate, or
No,
no.
nothing, just very
r
drudgeon, very, like,
Right? So, I
robots.
wonder what made him different, and then if for our Trekkie fans out there, it's kind of a fun irony that we have Leonard Nimoy, which plays Spock, is leading an invasion of Earth to purge people of their emotions, just like his character in in Star Trek. He has no emotions. He is bear with me for a moment. What is his race? Oh my god, I just drew a blank. I've watched so much Star Trek.
You're like,
Vulcan,
whatever.
Vulcan. Here we go. Vulcan, Vulcan. Yes, yes, Vulcan.
V for Vulcan. Yeah. I was just like, I'm bad with names, and Star Trek's not one of my main franchises that I strongly follow.
But it was great to see him working with Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum, and oh my God, Jeff Goldblum's so skinny. Like you were telling me earlier, you could see his ribs. He is so.
Yeah, in the there's this one famous mud bath scene where he goes into a shower and you can see like the side, like as he's doing this, and I'm just like, that's a shitload of rib, boy. You need to fatten up just a little bit because he was starting to look a little too skinny. But I don't know if that's just his DNA. People that have great DNA,
Yeah.
eat anything and won't gain weight.
And I felt so bad when I saw him crying. It was
Yeah.
such a sweet scene, and then when he goes, later on when they're like, "Oh, I think it was the doctor." It's Leonard Nimoy goes, "You sure it's not somebody trying, one of your friends trying to prank you?" He's like, "I don't have any friends." I'm like, "Oh, I'll be your friend."
Yeah, that was kind of sad. That's kind of relatable though, because like I don't know, in school or college or whatever, if you were like kind of like a loner and didn't have many friends, and you kind of do relate to that, especially if you're like more of a like a loner kind of person.
And he was the poet, so
It makes
traditionally,
sense.
the poets are the loners.
Yeah, the lonely people that are living in their minds.
So what did you think about the special effects? So let's start from the beginning special effects.
Hmm.
Um, and then we have your snot, so-called. I call him the space jellyfish. The space jellyfish snot that lands on everything, and then it's raining, and then we have those little tendrils just kind of just come out and just start growing
Yeah.
like crazy.
The flower thing, when the flower
Yeah.
budded, those flowers looked really creepy. They looked like they had flesh in them, like
Hmm.
meat, and it just something about
Especially
them.
when you see them evolve right through the film. At the
Yeah.
beginning, they're creepy, and then at the very end, they're like super creepy, right? It's like almost like a vagina like opening up with ugh.
And taking you. Yeah, the body I expected this movie to have a lot more body horror than it did. Some of it was like icky, but it wasn't overly icky. Some of the scenes actually, where that one girl was sitting, was sitting, or I should say, laying in her bed, and there was like a glass terrarium looking thing, and her body was in there, and it looked so beautiful though, with all the
Mhm.
mosses and ferns, and in a way, I was thinking, if the aliens did take you over and it's that beautiful, like, is it that bad?
You'll
Like,
never get old. You'll
well,
live
and
forever.
not only that, but think about this. You won't have any feelings. You won't have good feelings, but you won't have bad feelings. It'll just be neutral. No anger, no sadness, no nothing, just neutrality. Isn't that an interesting concept?
I think it's kind of terrifying.
You think so?
Yeah, just being so disconnected. It's like having no purpose. Well, I guess they have a purpose to do whatever their leader tells them to, but just to have no personality of your own.
No
Uh,
self. Like
yeah,
they definitely lose themselves. They're no
people like
self.
that scare me that are just
Mhm.
so perfect or seemingly perfect. I'm always like, there's something's got to be off. Something's not right. And the scariest part of the film for me, I think the body horror is more implied.
Yeah.
It's in your head, especially the part where, if you notice from the very beginning, if you look in the background a lot, people are already changing around them and they're not even noticing because they're just going about their daily lives. People are standing to the sides just watching them. Throughout the entire movie, from the very beginning, there are people just standing there
Yeah.
watching them, and then it
Watch
gets
them.
worse and worse, and there's more and more people just
Mhm.
watching them, and then they know their name, and they start following them. That just terrifies the hell out of me, like, I'm already creeped out about, "Everybody's looking at me, everybody's watching me," you know what I mean? And, like, to
Yeah.
really have that on a huge global scale, like, no.
Yeah. The part that super creeped me out to no end was when the pod person, um well, they were carrying their pods and pretending like they're pod people even though they weren't.
Mhm.
And the fucking mutated dog with the human head of the owner comes walking by, and one of the girls goes, "Ah!" And then it totally reveals their
Yeah.
cover. That was a little rough for me. I was like, it was just super unsettling, the fact that the pod mutated the dog and the person. I'm like, I don't think they should have mutated like that, but glitches happen, I guess, even in alien
Mhm.
form.
And I thought it was interesting that the last people they chose to turn were the homeless people, were the vagrants, were those that were living out in the street and things like that. Because, like, think about, if you're an alien and you wanna take over, like, You want somebody with a nice house, a nice car, power, authority. You're not just going to start at the easy pickings, which was right there for them. They could have taken them at any point, but you don't see them
All
take
the
it until
homeless,
the
yeah.
end.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think
White
I would have lost my composure as well, seeing the dog man
Yes.
face thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking in my head is because at one point they're calling the cops, right? They're calling the cops, and then they're like, "Oh shit, they're in on it. Everyone's in on it." So I'm thinking the pod people, or the aliens came down and they were smart about it. First, they turned all of the government entities so
Yep.
nobody questions. Because if they start from the bottom, if they start with all the homeless people, what are they going to do? Arrest them, right? They're going to arrest the
Exactly.
homeless people, and then the aliens aren't going to be able to do what they're going to do. But you start from the top, right? You turn all the government, and then from there you turn all the business class people that are going to have employees and people working under them, and then you turn those people, and then of course you turn doctors, physicians, chiropractors, psychiatrists, and then after that, after you turn the everyday people, that working class people, then you can move on to like the final stages, and you know um transients, homeless, etc.
And I love how the beginning mirrors the end. At the beginning, you have the
Yes.
teacher with the kids, right? Going,
Hmm.
"Oh, pick the flowers," not knowing, or so we think.
Yeah.
She may have known, right? "Oh, pick the
Mm.
flowers, bring one home to your family. There's plenty, get you one." And then we see at the end, that's how they're spreading it. They're bringing kids in for
Yeah.
field trips and telling them it's nap time. So they don't
Oh
even need
man.
to bring the flower. It's nap time, and then when they come home to mom and dad, they're not their kids.
Yeah, that part
And then
got
boom.
me. And the kids were like, "Oh, but we're not tired. It's not nap time." And the teacher's like, "Nap time." And
Yeah, I'm
that
sorry, you tell me at work it's nap time, I'm napping. Yes. What? I can nap? Hells yeah. So yeah,
I would
I'd be in trouble.
you definitely. And what I noticed is from one of the scenes where they found the ship, and Sutherland's character goes out to go investigate the ship, and then she dozed off for maybe a minute, and in that minute was enough for her. A minute or two wasn't that long. In that minute or two that she dozed off, that was enough for her to transform. And scary,
That was some
because
great special effects though, when she
yeah.
crumbled in his arms.
Oh
Really
yeah.
sad, but the
Oh, that made me so sad. It's like, wake up! Oh no, she's not waking up. And how do you? It kind of gave me. It kind of gave me Street Nightmare on Elm Street vibes, because also you have to go into the dream state to see the killer, and in this case you will meet your end by falling asleep.
mhm.
So it
And
was.
I love the scene, it was in the commercial as well, where they're running under the
Yeah.
bridge to the port and the
Mhm.
light shining behind them. It's very 28 days later. I mean, we've seen it many times. It's just a beautiful shot of people running through the light reflecting behind them. So I thought that was really beautiful.
Yes, we have a message from Art saying, "Love the best care. Just go to Death Review and the new sub."
Yay.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Thank you so much for all the love, comments, shares, likes. We love it. We love all the support, and we support you. You support us, and it's definitely a lot of fun to to be in the community, and you know be there for other people. And then Art says "de nada," which means "de nada" means like, oh, you're welcome, kind of thing. It's no big deal, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Actually, Art, that's a great question. We did a review of Private Parts from the 1972. Check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. So if you're interested, we definitely had a lot of fun with that one, and that had a lot of really weird,
Yes.
that weird sex doll and oh, that one in the hotel and the
Yes.
aunt
And we get inappropriate as usual. You know, it's what we
as
do
usual.
here.
Yeah, that one was
We
very.
delight a bit too much in the fray.
Yes, yes. We delight you and fright you. Arr. I
Was
will
there a character you related to more, Luna?
um and Art, I will get you a link. I will share with you. Yeah, so all of them were really relatable, and I'm really bad with names, so let me look it up really quick. So the character of Nancy, right? Where she
That's
where
Veronica Cartwright. Yeah, she was in Aliens. Oh no, Alien, the first one. And she's right there with the chest breaker.
yeah, yeah. Um her her seed is she's at the very end where Donald Sutherland's like right? Imagine having to hide and pretend you're an alien and trying to find your friends and trying to find your loved ones, trying to find everybody. And then all of a sudden, like you think you found your friend again. It's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. And then it's not your friend. Like, I related to her character just because she was very loving to Jeff Goldblum. They were in a relationship and
They
she
were
was very.
married.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a really good connection too, and they seemed like they had a good chemistry because like even when they were running the mud baths and stuff, she was like very playful with him as well, and then he always had her back too. So I related to her character because that's how I am in person. I'm very loving and caring, and so she had a lot of that with her people. And she did a good job. The actress Veronica did a great job at portraying that in that character because she did have a lot of care.
I definitely relate to her a lot as well. But I also relate to Jeff Goldblum because he's kind of the loner, the poet, just very
Yeah,
just always feeling alone and saddened easily and kind of just in that state, but that's his artistic, that's as a poet, you don't see many poets that are like, "Yay, life is great, la la la." No, they're they're very
yeah,
dark and dreary, and I just think he fit that part marvelously. It was hard to see Donald Sutherland kill his friend, even though it wasn't his friend when he
yeah,
choked out Jeff Goldblum and threw Leonard Nimoy into the thing and like tried to lock him in there, and then thinking that they're not going to know they're there. Like I'm
yeah,
not a runner. Like I'm sorry if a bunch of people are just running for me. I'll probably just do like what Jeff Goldblum did. It's like, you know what? They're gonna catch me, so you guys run. I'll be a distraction. But then Nancy, his wife, ran right after him, but she still
hmm
managed to make it because she's an amazing at acting with no emotion or anything. I thought that was great how she was able to do that even in under such pressure and intense situations. Like, I think I'd manage for a little while, but then I would crack, especially with no
yeah,
sleep. Forget
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah. No,
that's
for
my
sure.
favorite thing to do.
Sleep.
Sleep.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have a very difficult time because I like sleeping and not sleeping. Well, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. Like if I'm super stressed out, super anxious, super whatever, then I just develop like crazy insomnia and I stay awake till like 3, 4 in the morning and try to give myself serotonin by doom scrolling because fuck it, I don't have to be at work till 12, right? So that's a bad habit. But other than that, when I'm like feeling okay, I get typical like 6 to 8 hours, no problem. But not sleeping at all, I don't know. I don't know. And then even if you got away from that situation, even if our protagonists, let's say they just got on a ship and left, it was spreading pretty quickly. They had cargo ships, it was going to go overseas. They had people in buses going so with their pods and everything to contaminate other cities. So it's just a matter of time before it all spread. Um, so I don't know if escaping that would be possible. I mean, you can outrun it for so long because once it's spread throughout everywhere, then what more is there to escape once the whole world is pod people, you know?
Yeah, you're all alone.
And that's going to be a really miserable existence. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I would probably just realize that this is bigger than myself, say my goodbyes, and just go to sleep. And I don't know. And then the thing that got me thinking is, are they them still? And just with the alien controlling them, or is their soul gone? I know if you're an atheist, I'm sorry. I know this is gonna bug the shit out of you because soul or your soul or whatever is kind of a concept that many people may believe in or may not believe in. So, but it gets you thinking like, are they themselves once after they've turned into pod people, or is it just completely the alien just replicating that individual, and then you and your soul just gets like literally you die and the replication is just literally the alien shape shifted as you, and you're not that anymore. You're gone. Like your soul, your brain, all your thoughts. But see, it kind of confused me a lot because they're saying, "Oh yeah, you'll remember some of your memories and stuff." And I'm like, "So is it you or is it not you?"
I don't think so. Because if it was them, then their partner wouldn't realize it right away. Like the people who knew them the most knew it right away, knew the difference
Mhm.
immediately. So that tells me they're not them.
Mhm.
And just that feeling, the hopelessness that
Mhm.
that runs throughout the movie, that's just hard. It's rough to take.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional movie because it did have a sense of how are we going to get out of this? Is there a way to get out of this? And I don't know. Probably not.
What would you do, like, let's say your last few hours, like, you know you're not gonna be able to stay awake any longer. What do you spend doing your last few hours as you?
Um it kind of depended on where I was at the time. Like
Let's say you're in your room. Somehow you're in your room with all your stuff.
I would probably watch Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is very comforting to me. And I'd probably just do a Lord of the Rings marathon with snacks and good food. And just know that this is it. And it would be hard. I would feel like, the people that are on death row and they know they have like 24 hours and they get their last meal. I would kind of treat it as that because once the alien takes you over, you will cease to be yourself. So
Mhm.
I would treat it like that. Yeah. What about you?
I I would, put on some Radiohead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Turn on, like, a night light that I have that like is different colors and make the room kind of trippy and do some writing, maybe painting. And what the hell? Like, I'm not going to care about any of this stuff later. So I just paint on the wall or my bookshelves, like whatever. And I guess try to remind myself of who I was.
Mhm.
Even though I knew I wouldn't, I would still try because I'd have all my memories, but I wouldn't have any emotions. I wouldn't have any love for
Yeah.
any of this stuff. It would just be stuff. I mean, stuff is still stuff, but I wouldn't have love for my family, my
No.
past, my history, all the things I've been through. So I guess I'd probably look through pictures as well and videos, to remember my family.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important to be able to have those last moments, especially. I don't feel like these characters had a closure. All of them died scared and alone. They're running and running and running, and eventually it caught up to them and they didn't have their last hoorah kind of moment. And many people don't. And it is what it is, but it's kind of sad, you know?
Exactly. And what if, having seen this movie, if things were going the exact same way, what would you try to do differently? Is there something you would try and hope for a different results?
How to get rid of there's gotta be a way to stop the growth. Um, because it acts like a virus. The way it started spreading, it was literally a virus. It just popped down and multiplied, replicated, did all that fun stuff. So if there is a way, like let's say freezing the freezing the pods, or I guess teaming up with other fellow not pod people and just figuring out how to take them out, kind of creating like a militia. I don't know. I'm all about
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
sticking it to the man, So
No,
I don't
I agree. It was definitely because they didn't have any weaknesses, did they?
nothing that they explained in the movie.
So
So
and remember she gave the sample to her friend and he was like, "Oh, it'll be 48 hours or whatever," and it never got done. So I'm wondering if there is something that they're weak to, but
yeah.
it would have
And
needed
I
to be
think
sampled.
and I think that friend that said, "Oh, it'll go done in 48 hours," because once Sutherland's character at the very end was in the office and they were already like pod people because they were like walking in a row or like zombie like. I think at that point that friend was already a pod person
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah,
that's why he was trying to manipulate the data.
for sure.
So if that scientist was not a pod person and she was like, "Let's get it done right now. We need this information right now," and he's like, "Okay, we'll do it right now. It'll take like an hour or two, whatever." And they would have found, oh yeah, it's it stops the mutation with ice or acid damage,
Mhm.
whatever. Grab a bunch of batteries and just remove the acid and just create some sort of weaponry. I don't know, something.
That's a good thought because I was kind of at a loss as what to do as well. But yeah, you give me a good idea. I would, get a sample and hop on a plane and go to like the nearest CDC, probably somewhere where it's snowing or somewhere where I didn't think that they have gotten yet. So
Hmm.
I would hope that there would be more people, but then how would we test
Hmm.
if they're really people? Like in the thing, they cut themselves and they put heat to the blood. That's how they
Mm,
were able to see. With this, they have no emotion, but we saw from the doctor they could fake emotion. So
yeah, they
that's
could
not a
fake.
good way to tell I'm already like distrustful of people, and you tell me there's pod people around that are aliens, that they look like people. Oh man, I'd
Mm,
have trouble trusting anyone. I really would,
yeah, yeah.
unless I
The
really knew them intimately and then know,
Yeah, if there was some sort of DNA kit where you could just, like, secretly take a strand of their hair, "Oh, yep, no, this is mutated." Where it
Mhm.
shows some sort of mutation, some sort of
Yeah,
whatever.
or if you took the cold to them, maybe I don't know. Well, since they're plants, plants don't really do good in the cold, right? They kind of grow. It's a pod
Yeah.
that grows the plant, so I guess maybe I would
That's why
hope.
I was thinking cold, because
Yeah.
the plants wouldn't be, I think, freezing them and killing off their DNA or whatever alien genetic thing they may
Mhm.
have.
Well, we
That's
know
what I'm
they don't like fire, right? They didn't like when he burnt down their grow house.
like, "Hey!" Everybody started screaming. So just torch the shit out of them or
Mhm.
freeze the shit out of them,
One way
but
or another.
one
I
way or
think if you
another.
froze them, it would slow them down, maybe.
Mhm.
Where you could get at least a little bit of
Freeze the
sleep before you turn around and there's a person, a pod person
Yeah,
growing.
slow down
You
the mutation, yeah. Ugh, it's all kinda fucky. But hey, it happens, you know?
So what did you think about the movie?
Overall, it was good. If I had to rate it, I would say it was, probably an 8 out of 10. Good casting, good acting, good effects for being 1970s. I was like, "Whoa, this
Mhm.
is cool." Little weird director of photography did a weird scenes that I didn't like. They didn't agree with me. Like when the priest at
Mhm.
the beginning was on the swing and the camera got all crazy, I was like, "Priest, stop swinging in that fucking swing," because I was getting dizzy.
Yeah.
And then it cuts right next to a scene when they're in San Francisco and the street is this way, the buildings are this way. I'm like, ah, that didn't agree with me either.
Yeah.
But other than
That
that,
was always at the beginning, right? To
at the
kinda
very yeah, that
get
was
you
a
off
very
kilter.
yeah,
Right.
that was the very beginning shot, and that's when I knew this movie's gonna be fucked up.
What about the my favorite shot is the end. I love how he screams and then the camera zooms into his mouth to show, like, they will swallow the whole world,
Yeah.
right? And the credits roll in silence, as if a moment of silence for humanity. Like, they're done. We're
Mhm.
done,
We're done. We're
and
done.
the
We're done.
sound effects as well for the movie were
Mhm.
amazing. There
Yeah.
was, like, that what was that sound effect? That "wow, wow, wow," right?
Wow.
And
Oh my
it would
gosh.
get louder, and it would be and there'd be a heartbeat with it.
Mhm. I think that was the aliens.
Mhm.
Think that was the
Like, it was
aliens,
like
like,
space
mutating.
sounds, and
Yeah, it was
it's
like the I
really
think it
weird.
was it started happening louder when the aliens started, like, budding and spreading and stuff, so I'm pretty sure it was the sound that the aliens are making to communicate to the other aliens. "I'm budding right
Yeah.
now. I'm gonna take someone over." Kind of
Yeah, it seemed like they could communicate telepathically,
through
yet
those wow wow sounds.
we saw them having meetings, though. Maybe it was a proximity. Maybe they had to be within a certain distance to kinda talk to each other.
I think the meetings had more to do with, like
Transferring of things, like she was saying,
yeah, like, transferring thoughts
documents and
to
things, probably here's other important
mhm,
people that work for this
to get
agency that you
yeah,
need to get involved.
mhm, that kinda shit, yeah. You know, undercover bullshit that you need to take over a society, I guess. I don't know. It's scary.
I loved it. I'd give it 9 out of 10 because I've seen other versions of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and this one is just my favorite. The
Yeah.
acting is amazing. I mean, there's the Jeff Goldblum who, I'm obsessed with. Um, and, um, and Veronica Cartwright as well, just amazing performance. Just her facial expressions are just great. Like, you could just see everything on her face, and I just love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic acting. And I agree on you on that. Like I said, it's a solid 8 out of 10 for 8 out of 10 for me. So, highly recommended. Yeah, for being a what 40-year-old film,
Mhm.
something
At
like
an
that.
hour and 55 minutes.
An hour and 55 minutes, just a
Yeah.
short plane
Yeah.
ride away. You can watch it on a plane. It's not too bad to watch in public, I would say.
And it's, even though there's that feeling of dread and frightening, there's a lot of beautiful things in the movie as well, like horrific
Mhm.
yet beautiful, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
so it's definitely a great watch. Like even if you don't like want to feel like I didn't feel bad after it. Like I kind of giggled like, that's what we
Yeah,
get. We're trying to destroy the planet. So aliens were like, you know what? We'll take it.
we'll take it. Yeah, agreed.
It's like, oh,
So,
well, there goes humanity with the blip. Just
yes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. It's a great, fantastic film. You guys should check it out. It's got wonderful cast, and yeah. Do you have anything else to add, Miss Cat?
no, it's an awesome movie, and I encourage everyone to check it out. See the other versions as well. See which ones you like more, and see kind of analyze the differences from era to era is always interesting and
Hmm.
fun to study. I guess if you're a nerd like we are, right?
Yes, film nerds in the house. I gotta take down my notes. Do-do-do-do-do.
Yes.
But
And I'm probably gonna look up the book and try to read it. And there's also some great sci-fi books that they talk about
yeah,
um in the movie, like
yeah,
Worlds in Collision by Emmanuel Velikovsky and Star Maker by Olaf Stapledon. That one is actually free, I guess, because it's so old. Once a certain point, it's just
yeah. It's
free
just like
domain.
free. Yeah.
Hmm.
Gotta love all that free stuff. It gets old enough, but it's still popular if it's being used in media.
Just some of those great old ideas that about
Hmm.
sci-fi and things that still we're experimenting with and having fun with, and we still don't have our flying cars.
Stupid jerks.
But can you imagine the way people drive now with streets? Could you imagine that in the air?
Yeah, no, no,
And then
definitely
the
not.
parts would be falling over innocent people just like biking to work or riding to work or just driving, on the road, the regular old school road. They can't afford the fancy space car. And it was just
No.
like, ah, it's raining parts again.
Yeah, or like the oil leaks. Like
Yeah.
people don't fix their fucking oil leaks. You get fucking oil all over your hair.
Or like in the movies, they burst into flames when they hit each other. Like, fire
Yeah,
rain.
no, we don't need that. Like, let's just stay on land.
Yes, yes.
Well, we might do something special for you guys. I will be out of town Thursday and for the entirety of the weekend, but it is Friday the 13th, so me and Kat might discuss something that we may be able to pull off. But stay tuned for that.
Thank
Thank
you for joining us, guys. Have
thank
a great
you.
night. We've missed you.
We've missed you so much. Thank you bunches to everybody that
Cthulhu
commented.
bye.
Cthulhu buys. Bye.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.